In this series, we're continuing our UML to PowerShell implementation, and we want to look at making a class. So I have a class diagram, a UML class diagram here, the typical 3 boxes, top box being the name, middle box being the properties, and the lower box being the methods. I also have my system here, and notice the key here in this activity diagram is that it is not something dot something. So this is our big bang. This gets us started, if you will. In other words, these are the first actions that are going to take place. This is the first activity to take place, and it's where we should launch all of our other objects and actions from. So we took a look at this last time, and I want to focus on the class now. And in PowerShell, we have a keyword class, okay? And then we follow that with an identifier, a name that we make up for it. In this case, I'm calling it stuff. Then everything that belongs to the class, all we'd say the members of the class, all of its properties and methods, are in a set of curly braces. So we don't have lines to draw like we do in a drawing editor, such as diagrams.net or something here. So what we do instead of the boxes is we say that all the code for this class, the definition, the declarations and definitions of this class will be inside of these curly braces. And we'll use curly braces whenever we want to group together a series of statements, a sequence of statements. So that's the class, and inside of the curly braces then we're going to have the properties and the methods. And in PowerShell, the order doesn't matter. We don't have to separate the properties from the methods. The properties don't have to come first. They can come in any order, and I'll encourage you to play with that here. But what I'm seeing right now is sort of a direct translation. Okay, I have a class named stuff. So in my class name stuff, I have the keyword class stuff. Then I have property A of the type Boolean here, and so I have property A in my weakly typed version. I don't have to specify type, so I just say $, that's PowerShell's keyword that this is a property name, $ property A. And then this class stuff, every stuff object will have a property B and a property C. We should recognize that this is the constructor. It has the same name as the class. Over here, select, there we go. It has the same name as the class, and it has no return type, so therefore it is the constructor method. And secondly, this class has another method called double_stuff that does have a return type and takes no arguments. And so in UML, we have the name colon the type, okay? And in PowerShell and a lot of other formal computer languages, we flip that around and we specify the type first and then the name. So what in my weakly typed version, notice I just say, oh, there's a method called double_stuff. It knows it's a method because of the name immediately followed by parentheses. And what I've done is I've said there's an empty set of curly braces here. So I had to define it, even to define it to say that it does nothing. In fact, the same thing with my constructor you'll see here is that I have an empty set of curly braces. There. Okay. And then I go on to what I had before, where I'm declaring and defining the values of 3 different variables. There. So what I have in my class definition here now, and these variables, great. In the strongly typed version, you can see that I've put the types in square brackets before them, including the return type of the method as well. Okay, great. So let me come over here, select this, Control A to select all, Control C. I'm going to come over to my editor and paste it in there. And then I'm going to bring up my PowerShell CLI interpreter, and I'm going to just simply run this thing first. And again, I know you're getting as excited as I am now that, hey, this worked. This is awesome. This is incredible. I didn't have to type anything else in, and I didn't see anything, but that means I didn't get an error message. So it worked. Now we can say one of two things. I can either try and break something, or I can see what it does. Let's see. I guess first of all, maybe let's break a few things. What if I took this class definition and cut it from there and put it down here? Okay. If I run this, again, always ask yourself first, take a few moments, think about it. Will this cause an error? And if it doesn't cause an error, will it cause anything different to occur? And so now that you've placed your bets, and by the way, I guess maybe I should say, all I did was change the order. Should that matter? Well, you might be thinking, no, of course it shouldn't matter. Or someone might be thinking, well, wait a minute. You're trying to do something here first, and then you're trying to define this class. That seems like you should make all these declarations and definitions first. And some languages will actually make you do that. But it turns out in PowerShell, I can run this, and it still runs fine. Now, I know you might be like, well, wait a minute, how do I know it actually ran? Maybe you're running some other program. Is this in the same directory as this? Yeah, okay, check all those things. So I guess what I can do is I can say, well, let's throw a right host in here. Okay? And we can say, well, what do you want to see? Let's see $course. Okay, and so I save that, I come over here and I rerun it, and sure enough, we see the value of the variable named course. And you're saying, well, what if I wanted to see stuff? Okay. So let's right host stuff. Again, is it going to cause an error? What'd you do? Is it going to cause an error? If not, what are you going to see? So I will save that. I'll come over here and I'll run this. Oh, just what you expected, right? In other words, stuff, when we're saying right host stuff, it doesn't know what stuff is. You could try saying, oh, maybe it's because I didn't put a $sign in front of it. Let's make it the variable stuff. Okay. Quick. What's going to happen? Is that going to be an error? And if it's not, what's going to happen? Sure enough, we see a blank line because it's just like in the last video where this is making up the name stuff on the fly, a variable name stuff. Not a class name stuff, but a variable. There's a difference, and we'll get used to those. And so we find out classes are simply definitions of what objects will look like. So we can't really do much with a class itself until we make an object, which is what we will do next time.